You gonna run the buttons today?
On the whole thing.
Yeah, man.
Anything I don't know, we can get back with that.
The time now is 12:38 p.m. We have a quorum and the meeting has been duly posted. Good morning and welcome to Board Briefing Day, a meeting of the Dallas Independent School District Board of Trustees. Please stand and join us for a moment of silence and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and a salute to the Texas flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Trustees present starting on your left and my right are Trustee Joyce Foreman, Trustee Dan Mishkay, Trustee Lee Blackburn, Trustee Nancy Bingham, Trustee Bernadette Nuttall, and Trustee Mike Morath. Our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Mike Miles, also joins us, and I'm Miguel Solis, Board President. Do we have a translator in the room? Okay. And if you would help me, trustees, or do we see any elected officials in the room? Let's see any. Okay. We're now at President's Remarks. Trustees, the only remark I have is that we have, per our board evaluation, our board adopted superintendent evaluation tool. By March 31st, we must meet to conduct a mid-year evaluation. I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was a poll that was sent out regarding dates that would work for trustees. I would ask that you revisit that poll. We have to do it by March 31st. So my goal is to try to figure out when we can meet, but at the very latest we have to meet by March 31st. So please respond to that poll so that we get that meeting set up and the superintendent can have the time afforded to present all materials to the board so that we can review them. Our agenda now calls for the public forum segment of our meeting. To ensure that this meeting is held in an orderly manner, I'm asking speakers to please refrain from using individual names and to address the board and not individual trustees. Mr. Harris, will you please call the name of the speakers?
Sure. Speakers are reminded that you have 3 minutes to speak. When you arrive at the microphone, please state your name and address. Our first speaker is Vince Murchison, followed by Stacy Hodge.
Good afternoon, Vince Murchison, 1600 Abrams Road. Got 2 kids in the district, both at Woodrow Wilson High School. Most of you know me. I'm a long-standing contributor to education in Dallas. I'm now in my 12th year of that work. First off, apologize, the suit's not here today. Y'all called school. I got excited, made it a casual day. Dino called up and here I am. So, wanted to make a few comments about the district action plan. And as background, when I began my work here, my oldest son was in the 1st grade. And that was when Mike Moses was about to exit. He brought some stability to the district. After that, we had Mike Hinojosa. He righted the ship, laid the foundation for the success that we see today. Today we have Mike Miles, largely and to some degree, hopefully at my behest. He's continued the course set by his predecessors. I think the action plan sets the right priorities. Teachers come first. It's where the rubber meets the road. Principals are mentioned next. Principal can make or break a campus. They will make or break a campus. Parental involvement is a priority. It's a must both at school and at home. I call the 3 superintendents I just mentioned the mites. Under the mites, we've improved student performance in all of our subpopulations. We've improved our teaching ranks. We've improved our facilities to the tune of billions of dollars. And on that note, I would also offer a word of support for the interim bridge plan. We've improved our central administrative functions, maybe lost a little bit of fat there. Some might even say that we've improved the Board of Trustees. I think the jury may still be out. Back to the action plan, on the element that mentions a central office, I see the words enhance a positive culture throughout the district. Yet I hear rumblings seeking the resignation or the termination of our superintendent. So my first question for you is this: does that rumbling enhance a positive culture in the district? I would submit that to utter those words, resignation, termination, is easy. To affect those words is not. What flows from that? First, we're going to have an interim superintendent. Things can unravel. We've seen that before. Then we go through the search process. How much money will we spend that could otherwise be applied in the classroom? Then we have the prospect, if we have a new superintendent, of change, change, change. It takes a long time to affect change, particularly an institution this large. We've spent the better part of 10 years affecting the improvements that we see today. So I would suggest that we not tear asunder that which we have built. That first grader, in May, he's going to graduate from Woodrow with an International Baccalaureate diploma. That's a program we could only have dreamed about before we had the mics. In the alternative to resignation or termination, I would suggest this to all of you. Go and sit down and look at each other across the table and resolve your differences like adults. That's the same way we would counsel our students to resolve their differences. Last, you know that I've chaired a number of site-based decision-making committees in the district, and I developed a philosophy that I espouse at those committees, and that is that everything we do should, directly or indirectly, improve student performance. And so my last question for you is, if you reflect upon your actions as trustees, can you say the same thing? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Stacy Hodge.
My name is Stacy Hodge. I live at 1836 West Davis, Dallas 75208. It's actually quite interesting that I follow events because I used to teach science at J.L. Long, 7th and 8th grade, and I actually taught one of Vince's kids, and he was on the SBDM board when I was on the SBDM. I'm here today really just to speak about some of the changes that have come about with the district, and I want to give, it's interesting, the audience, like there's so many people, all the snow, I thought, oh, am I going to meet anybody here today? This is easy. The thing I came to talk about was to share some of the positive that's going on. Unfortunately, the things that tend to show up in the media are the negative things. Very rarely do we call our friends and say, hey, have you tried out this really awesome restaurant? It's usually, don't go to this restaurant because I didn't get good service. Well, we just went through the DTR process, or we're in the middle of a DTR process, and one of the things that happened that I want to share with you that was really exciting was December 29th, which was one of my days off and teachers' days off. We decided to host an information session for teachers who were available to actually apply for DTR. We had 75 teachers show up, and there were teachers from every one of the trustees' districts, people who were not a part of Stanford Children, just teachers that came out that wanted help on their DTR application and needed answers. When they walked in, they had deer in the headlight look. By the time it ended, we had 2 hours scheduled. We were there for 4.5 hours, and there was lots of laughter and helping each other with their applications. It's been a really interesting thing to watch. They call me and text me now as soon as they hit submit, and they're like, I did it. I'm so happy I did it. I didn't realize just how much I brought to my profession, and it's been a really good reflection for me. I've also had friends who are principals, EDs, APs. They're on the teams to do the observations for the DTR teachers. Some of them rumbled. They didn't want to leave their schools. They had lots of work to do. But what I'm hearing now is as they go out and they watch these DTR teachers and they do the observations, they're seeing the amazing teachers and talent that we have, to the point that they go back and grab some of their staff and they go back and visit that teacher again so that they can learn things and share things. That is what having a good teacher evaluation system is about. It's about coaching, it's about helping each other, it's about working together. So I applaud where we're at right now, and I hope that we continue on this way. Thank you.
Maida Hapley, followed by Dr. Michael Bowie.
Thank you. Mita Havlick, 5331 Monticello Avenue. I'm full of passion. Stonewall Jackson Elementary is our school of choice. We choose Stonewall Jackson because of its community spirit, its diversity, and its reputation as a strong place of learning. We choose Stonewall Jackson because our kids love their teachers and they enjoy playing with and learning beside children of all racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic backgrounds. As a regional school for the deaf, our hearing and deaf students sit side by side throughout the day, every day. Our children look forward to every chance they get to go to the Stonewall Gardens, our outdoor science laboratory. We choose Stonewall Jackson because we choose public education. And all of this is who we are. Well, we've seen our 76-year-old infrequently updated building, and we parents, we ask ourselves, are children safe? Are they healthy? Are they learning? Are they safe when we hear them tell us that there's mold growing on the walls and that there's rusty water dripping from the ceilings? Are they safe when are they learning when they tell us they spent 30 minutes waiting in line to use the bathroom? Are they healthy when they tell us they're hungry because the cafeteria ran out of lunches? Are they healthy when they tell us that they didn't even get any physical exercise that day because the gym is too small and it was too cold or rainy or snowy to go outside and play? Are children learning when they come home and they tell us they couldn't hold a pencil that day because they had to wear gloves because their hands were too cold? And are our children safe, I ask you, when during a tornado drill they have to sit 4 deep and they tell us that there are still kids that are still too close to a window? So we ask ourselves, what do we parents do about it? We do this. We come before you and we say thank you. We thank you for appreciating the degraded condition of our school as is evident in our place in the interim bridge plan. We thank you for taking the time to see and understand the conditions in which our kids are learning. We've seen other schools being transformed, updated, enhanced, and built through DISD funding, and this has resulted in a safe, healthy, and effective environment for dozens of schools, improving the lives and quality of learning for tens of thousands of Dallas area children. And we thank you for positively affecting them. Conversely, our school, Stonewall Jackson, continues to experience alarming safety, health, and capacity issues. We're not a Tier 1 school, but our children still deserve a safe, healthy, and effective classroom and learning environment, just like every child within DISD does. We Stonewall parents have contributed to the improvement of our school to the best of our ability, but we're at a point where our parental community can no longer fund all the necessary improvements and infrastructure. So finally, we say please. Please vote to pass the interim bridge plan so the district can fulfill its obligation to our 620 Stonewall Stars and to all affected, 10,000 affected Dallas Independent School District children. Vote yes, and I promise you, you will directly and positively impact the lives of all of these children. We choose to send our children to public school, so our last plea is to respectfully request that you do everything you can to keep our children and all children within DISD safe and to facilitate their learning. In return, we promise to continue to support Dallas Public Schools, to advocate for public education, and commit to you that our children will continue to excel. I promise they won't let you down. Thank you.
Dr. Michael Bowie, followed by Dorsey Clark.
Dr. Michael Bowie, 5710 East Otto Thornton, Dallas, Texas. Good afternoon, Superintendent Miles, and to the board members and concerned citizens. My name is Dr. Michael Bowie, and I'm the senior pastor of St. Luke Community United Methodist Church. And I'm here today to express my support for repurposing Frazier Elementary School. The members of St. Luke, we believe that the interim bridge plan to reopen Frazier Elementary as a one-stop shop adult service center will be designed to tackle issues that are often associated with concentrated poverty. As you know, research has often proven that poverty impacts education, and it hinders one's ability to live a life of significance. And we believe Frazier House can be instrumental in turning these shocking stats around. We believe that repurposing Frazier Elementary will serve as an adult wraparound service center which will impact the whole family, and it will provide opportunities and services for the parent and the child. We know that student success is deeply connected with parent success, and it is our hope that Frazier Elementary will produce the following. Frazier House will produce the following. First of all, adult education. We hope that Frazier House will give parents an opportunity to get their GED, receive job training and readiness skills that will ultimately empower them to be better parents and ultimately receive higher wage earnings to be productive citizens. Also, we believe that Frazier House will provide programs that will be instrumental in connecting families throughout the community to meet on a regular basis, to encourage one another, and to come together and talk as family throughout the community, to talk about challenges, progress, and success. We believe Frazier House is a great opportunity to create strategic partnerships with DISD, early childhood providers, public and private sector, nonprofit agencies, and the faith community. We believe that Frazier House will be a powerful communal collaboration that will not only impact families, but would also be the catalyst to bring revitalization to the South Quadrant of Dallas. In closing, I believe today that Frazier will not only be a great investment to families today, but it will be a great source of transformation for future generations to come. As you all know, this morning, There are kids who go to bed hungry. There are families who live in poverty, and I believe education is the key to get families to where God has called them to be. So thank you for considering this opportunity to provide a much needed creative initiative for underserved families in the South Quadrant of Dallas who aren't seeking a handout, but they just need a hand up. Thank you very much.
Dorsey Clark, followed by Amy Cuccia.
Dorsey Clark, 2532 Cambria Boulevard. I'm the president of LEAF, and I've got 2 students at Lakewood Elementary. Our community is accustomed to taking care of ourselves. We are lucky to have the resources and the parental involvement to do so, but now we need your help. The story seems trivial considering this week's incidents. I was in my daughter's classroom 3 years ago and noticed how small the room was, as 2 rambunctious boys were in each other's space. I asked the teacher to open her shades to at least get some light in. She laughed, pushed her handmade curtain to the side, and exposed a non-window, a fogged-in something that was supposed to resemble a window but let in absolutely no light. Not the most inspiring place to learn. This classroom experience was a small thing, but it made it clear that the DISD facility is subpar and provides a poor learning environment, just like other schools throughout the district that are on this bridge plan. The facility doesn't even provide basic needs: clean air, water, light, space, efficient restrooms, protection from the elements, protection in an emergency. And I realized everyone had their story. We all had concerns. So here we are, 3 years later, with well over $500,000 raised by our community because we have all had these experiences. During fundraising, we heard from corporations and philanthropists that public funds should support public schools. They and our community are willing to help, but you need to give us a platform to work from. Thank you for having this action in front of you. Our children endure an environment that I know I cannot work in on a daily basis. Experiences that make us worry about basic safety. My cubicle at City Hall is no prize, but I cannot even fathom trying to work or learn in a place like Lakewood or at Macon, where I've recently visited. As a longtime city employee, I know that every day I and my coworkers think deeply about being frugal with taxpayer dollars, serving the citizens of Dallas, and advising our policymakers responsibly. And we expect our policymakers to lead, to take action, to move the city forward, and to see the big picture. Similarly, your staff's planning and recommendations were not entered into lightly. Thousands of students and hundreds of teachers are counting on you to take that first step now. We support DISD and we want to make this work. We have tried to hold our heads up high despite the fact that we are all well aware that this week's carbon monoxide problem was not just a fluke, but an example of any number of safety issues that are bound to occur at Lakewood or any other school on this bridge plan. Show that you care, that you recognize that there are issues that need to be resolved, and that you are willing to look at the greater good. Please take action on this round of proposals. Thank you. I'd also like to note that we have 50 some odd people that were not able to enter the room, but are certainly thousands behind them as well. Thank you for your time.
Amy Cuccia.
My name is Amy Cuccia. I live at 6442 Anita Street. I have 5 children, 2 at Long Middle School, 2 at Lakewood Elementary, and a 3-year-old that will become a part of the DISD school system in 2016. I'm speaking today to express my hope that you will pass the interim bridge plan that is currently being proposed to jumpstart the revitalization of numerous DISD campuses. I'm currently the SBDM chair at Lakewood Elementary and have been active on its campus and other campuses since 2006. We've experienced a population explosion in our neighborhood, and I largely contribute to that, to the growth of the academic success at Lakewood Elementary. We are a school that provides an exemplary public education to every child that walks through the front door. In less than 3 years, our student population has increased by nearly 150 children. We are currently serving approximately 850 children in a building that was built in 1951 to house roughly 550 kids. Our projection for next school year is close to 900. We have done an amazing job as a community of meeting the needs of the families that call Lakewood Elementary their school. But we are at a point that we need an adequate facility to continue doing right by these kids. There are numerous concerns for campuses that are for a campus that is so grossly overcrowded. First and foremost is student safety. More than half of our children are housed in portables that are more than 40 years old. Inadequate bathroom facilities have children traveling from building to building in unsecured walkways. Overcrowding presents fire hazards. Our students are seated 4 deep in the hallways during tornado drills. 25 separate entrances to this campus make it impossible to monitor and keep safe. And lack of proper ventilation in a crumbling building and dilapidated portables cause major health concerns for all of our children. I'm sure you have all seen the recent evacuation that took place. Ooh, can you come finish for me? Yeah. Sorry, I'm right here. Okay, sorry. Is that okay? Yeah.
As a mother, I choose not to allow myself to think of what could have happened. We want our kids to be curious, to take risks, to explore different options, and to aspire to dream big. We require our teachers to be curious, creative, to think differently about how to motivate students, and to bring them every day a little bit closer to that dream. We as a school system should work every day to provide the tools necessary so that no child slips through the cracks, no teacher lacks for supplies, and that no community has to worry about safety of their children. I'm fully aware that there are hundreds of campuses across the city and thousands of students that attend classes every day in less than desirable settings. District administration has worked collaboratively and creatively to come up with this plan. It provides an avenue for things to begin now. We need to not put things on hold. We'll conclude there. Thank you.
Our last speaker is Anna Hill. I spoke with Ms. Hill this morning, and she was not going to attempt to make it. Okay. So this concludes our speakers.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. It's now time for the board to retire to closed session. We will conduct our closed session in our back room. The board will now retire to closed session pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 551 concerning any and all purposes permitted by the Act, including but not limited to the following sections. 551.071. For private consultation with its attorney about pending or contemplated litigation or on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct clearly conflicts with this chapter, including an employment resignation arrangement for Donald R. Smith. The time...
To the parents from Lakewood and Stonewall Jackson, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all of the emails that I received from you.
Same here.
I'm trying to respond to them, and every once in a while you guys will respond back. If I have not responded back to your response, I'm still working on it, but I appreciate you being here.
Time now is 1:01 p.m. and we're in closed session. We will be having a discussion about the interim bridge plan after our closed session and a presentation, so if you'd like to stick around, feel free to stick around. Our other board room with all the seats will be open there as well, just to let you know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.